Hello, everyone. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional strength. It is the ability to observe and understand your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. Most people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations based on instinct or past experiences, never truly understanding why they feel or behave the way they do. But emotional strength begins with an honest look at yourself. When you understand your own emotions, you gain control over them. Without this understanding, emotions can feel overwhelming, taking over your decisions, actions, and reaction. Being self-aware means being present with yourself in every moment. It's about noticing when you're angry, sad, or anxious and asking yourself why you feel that way. Are your emotions tied to a specific event, or are they a result of your thoughts and beliefs? By taking the time to check in with yourself, you can begin to identify the root causes of your feelings rather than just reacting to them. This awareness allows you to take a step back before responding, giving you the power to choose your actions intentionally rather than being driven by raw emotion. Self-awareness also involves recognizing patterns in your emotional responses. Have you ever noticed how certain situations tend to trigger specific reactions? Perhaps a colleague's comment makes you defensive, or a stressful deadline causes you to become overwhelmed. These patterns are key to understanding your emotional landscape. By identifying recurring triggers, you can anticipate your emotional responses and take proactive steps to manage them. Instead of being caught off guard, you can choose how to respond thoughtfully rather than being swept away by the tide of emotion. In addition, self-awareness opens the door to personal growth. When you can see your emotional reactions clearly, you can start to question whether they align with your values or goals. Are your emotions helping you grow, or are they holding you back? This awareness gives you the opportunity to make changes in how you think, feel, and act, ultimately leading to greater emotional strength and resilience. It's not always easy to be self-aware. It requires honesty and vulnerability to acknowledge emotions that might be uncomfortable or difficult to confront. But the more you practice it, the easier it becomes to understand your emotional world, and the stronger you'll be when life throws challenges your way. Understanding your triggers is a crucial step in developing emotional strength because it helps you take control of your emotional responses instead of letting them control you. Triggers are those moments, events, or people that evoke a strong emotional reaction in you, often leading to feelings of anger, frustration, sadness, or anxiety. These emotional reactions are not always a reflection of the situation itself, but of how your mind interprets it based on past experiences, fears, or insecurities. By identifying and understanding your triggers, you empower yourself to respond with intention rather than being overwhelmed by impulse. The first step in understanding your triggers is to pay attention to your emotional reactions. When you feel a strong emotional response, take a moment to pause and reflect. What just happened? What thoughts went through your mind in that moment? Were they rooted in something from your past, a fear about the future, or a misinterpretation of the present? Often, our triggers are linked to unresolved issues or past wounds that we have not fully processed. For example, if someone criticizes you, your immediate reaction might be anger, but beneath that anger could be feelings of inadequacy or fear of rejection from past experiences. By tracing your emotional reaction to its root cause, you begin to understand the deeper layers of your emotions. Once you recognize your triggers, it's essential to examine them objectively. Ask yourself, why does this trigger me? Is this response proportional to the situation, or is it magnified because of past trauma or beliefs? Often, triggers are a reflection of unmet needs, such as the need for validation, respect, or safety. When we don't feel secure in these areas, even a small event can set off a disproportionately large emotional reaction. By identifying these unmet needs, you can begin to address them in healthier ways rather than allowing them to control your emotional responses. The power of understanding your triggers lies in your ability to decide how to respond when they arise. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can take a step back and choose a more thoughtful response. You may also be able to communicate your feelings and needs more effectively, which helps prevent misunderstandings or unnecessary conflict. Over time, as you become more aware of your triggers, you'll find that they have less power over you. You will become more emotionally resilient, able to face difficult situations without being knocked off balance by your reactions. Understanding your triggers doesn't mean avoiding them. It means having the awareness and control to handle them with emotional strength. Emotional regulation is the ability to manage and control your emotional responses, especially in situations that could otherwise provoke an intense or uncontrolled reaction. It's a skill that empowers you to respond to your emotions in a healthy, productive way, rather than allowing them to dictate your actions or behavior. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing or ignoring your feelings. Rather, it's about acknowledging them and choosing how to express them, even in the most challenging circumstances. This ability is essential for emotional strength because it ensures that you are not at the mercy of your emotions, but instead can respond with clarity and purpose. The first step in emotional regulation is self-awareness, recognizing and identifying what you are feeling in any given moment. Often we go through life without fully understanding the emotions we experience or why they arise. It's easy to dismiss anger or sadness as just temporary feelings, but when you fail to acknowledge them, they can build up and result in emotional outbursts or internal turmoil. By taking the time to pause and identify your emotions, you create a space between feeling and action. This moment of awareness allows you to decide how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Once you've identified your emotions, emotional regulation requires you to manage them. This can be challenging, especially in situations that provoke strong emotions like stress, frustration, or anxiety. However, with practice, you can develop techniques to calm yourself and regain control. Deep breathing, for example, is a powerful tool for emotional regulation. It activates the body's parasympathetic nervous system, reducing the fight or flight response and helping you regain a sense of calm. Another technique is cognitive reframing, challenging the negative thoughts that fuel your emotions and replacing them with more balanced or positive perspectives. When you learn to view a situation from a different angle, it can significantly reduce the emotional intensity you feel. Emotional regulation also involves delayed gratification, the ability to resist the urge to react immediately and instead choose to respond thoughtfully. In moments of conflict or stress, it can be tempting to lash out or give in to impulsive emotional reactions. However, learning to pause and reflect before you act allows you to make decisions that align with your long-term goals and values. It's about practicing patience, restraint, and mindfulness rather than letting fleeting emotions control your actions. In time, emotional regulation strengthens your resilience. You become less likely to be overwhelmed by negative emotions or external events. Instead of being knocked off course by frustration, anger, or sadness, you can navigate through life's challenges with greater ease and emotional stability. It's a habit that, when consistently practiced, leads to deeper emotional strength and a more balanced, fulfilling life. Letting go of perfectionism is one of the most liberating habits you can cultivate for emotional strength. Perfectionism is an internal standard that demands flawlessness in everything we do. It's an elusive pursuit. No matter how close we get to perfection, it always feels just out of reach. This constant striving can be exhausting, leaving you feeling inadequate, frustrated, and emotionally drained. The pursuit of perfection often stems from a deep-seated fear of failure or judgment. We believe that if we can just do everything perfectly, we'll be accepted, loved, and valued. But what if perfection isn't the key to success? What if the real strength lies in embracing imperfection? When you cling to perfectionism, you set yourself up for constant disappointment because perfection is a moving target. Nothing in life is perfect. People, situations, even your own actions. Trying to meet an unattainable standard not only leaves you emotionally drained, but also prevents you from appreciating progress. It's in the imperfections that growth happens. When you let go of the need to be flawless, you open yourself up to the possibility of learning, evolving, and making mistakes without judgment. Mistakes are not failures, they are lessons in disguise. They offer insight into what works and what doesn't, guiding you toward improvement. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean lowering your standards or abandoning excellence. It means allowing yourself the space to be human. It's about setting realistic expectations and accepting that mistakes are a part of the process. Perfectionism often results in procrastination because the fear of not doing something perfectly stops us from even starting. When you release that fear and embrace imperfection, you take action. You become willing to step out, try new things, and grow without the paralyzing fear of being judged. Furthermore, letting go of perfectionism allows you to practice self-compassion. When you're constantly chasing perfection, you become your own harshest critic. This self-criticism creates emotional strain and undermines your mental well-being. But when you accept that you're not perfect and treat yourself with kindness, you foster emotional resilience. You'll be able to bounce back from mistakes without harsh judgment, learning from each experience rather than seeing it as a failure. In essence, letting go of perfectionism is about releasing the unrealistic expectations you place on yourself and embracing the beauty of imperfection. When you accept that perfection is an illusion, you allow yourself to experience life more fully, without fear, shame, or the need for constant validation. This shift in mindset will not only help you grow emotionally, but will also bring you a sense of freedom and peace. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful habits you can develop to preserve your emotional strength. In a world that constantly demands your time, energy, and attention, it's easy to forget that you have the right to protect your emotional well-being. Boundaries are not about building walls to keep people out. They're about defining where your needs end and where others begin. They create a space where you can exist authentically, free from the overwhelming demands that come from overcommitting and sacrificing your own needs for the sake of others. When you don't set boundaries, you risk becoming emotionally depleted. You allow others to dictate your time and energy, often at the expense of your own mental and physical health. This can lead to resentment, burnout, and a sense of being overwhelmed. Setting boundaries means recognizing that you have the right to say no, to prioritize your well-being, and to take control of your emotional landscape. It's a sign of self-respect and emotional maturity. It's a statement that your emotional health matters and you won't allow others to compromise it. At first, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable. Many people fear that saying no will lead to conflict or disappointment, and so they give in to others' demands. But what if I told you that by setting boundaries, you actually create more respect in your relationships? When you communicate your limits clearly, you teach others how to treat you, and you demonstrate that you value yourself enough to protect your emotional space. Over time, you'll find that others respect your boundaries, and you'll feel a greater sense of peace and emotional stability. Boundaries also allow you to focus on what truly matters to you. By establishing clear lines about how much you're willing to give, you create room for the things that align with your values and goals. Whether it's carving out time for self-care, nurturing your personal relationships, or pursuing your passions, boundaries help you protect what is most important. Setting boundaries is about taking control of your life. It's about making intentional choices about where to direct your energy and being unapologetic about preserving your emotional well-being. When you master the art of setting boundaries, you strengthen your emotional resilience, giving you the clarity and energy to navigate life with confidence and strength. Building resilience is a vital habit for maintaining emotional strength. Resilience isn't about avoiding adversity. It's about facing challenges with the ability to bounce back, learn, and grow stronger with each experience. Life doesn't always go as planned. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and obstacles, but resilience gives you the capacity to adapt, recover, and keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. At its core, resilience is about mindset. It's the understanding that setbacks are not permanent and failure is not final. When life throws challenges your way, resilience helps you see these moments not as defeats, but as opportunities for growth. The most resilient people are those who view difficulties as temporary and see the lessons they can learn from adversity. Instead of feeling defeated by obstacles, resilient individuals see them as stepping stones towards success, even when the path is unclear. Building resilience requires embracing change. Change is inevitable, and the more you resist it, the harder it becomes to navigate life's challenges. The resilient person doesn't dwell in the discomfort of change, but adapts to it. They develop the ability to remain calm and focused when faced with uncertainty. This doesn't mean they don't feel fear or frustration, but rather that they acknowledge these emotions and choose not to let them dictate their actions. The resilient person has learned how to weather emotional storms with grace, always keeping their eyes on the bigger picture. Resilience also involves developing a strong support system. No one is truly alone in their struggles. And having people you can lean on during tough times is a cornerstone of resilience. Building strong, supportive relationships provides you with a network of people who offer encouragement, perspective, and guidance when you need it most. They remind you of your strength and help you keep moving forward when you feel like giving up. Resilience is about maintaining a sense of purpose. People who are resilient have a clear sense of why they do what they do. They are driven by a deeper sense of meaning that transcends their immediate difficulties. This sense of purpose provides the strength to endure even the toughest of circumstances, knowing that the challenges faced today are part of the bigger picture. When you have resilience, you understand that hardship is temporary, but the strength you gain from overcoming it is lasting. Practicing gratitude is one of the most transformative habits you can cultivate for emotional strength. In a world that often focuses on what's lacking or what needs to be fixed, it's easy to overlook the abundance of good things that surround us every day. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have, changing your mindset and elevating your emotional resilience. By consciously practicing gratitude, you create a powerful habit that nourishes your emotional health, builds positive energy, and helps you find joy in the present moment. When you practice gratitude, you train your mind to recognize the positive aspects of your life, no matter how small they may seem. It's easy to get caught up in the stresses and difficulties that life throws your way, but gratitude allows you to step back and acknowledge the moments of beauty, kindness, and growth. It's a mindset shift that doesn't deny the existence of hardship, but instead brings balance by highlighting the blessings you might otherwise overlook. Whether it's a simple act of kindness from a friend, the beauty of nature, or the health of your loved ones, gratitude allows you to find joy in the little things. What's truly powerful about gratitude is that it fosters emotional resilience. When faced with challenges, gratitude reminds you that you are not defined by your difficulties. It helps you see beyond the temporary setbacks and connect with the bigger picture. By focusing on the positive aspects of your life, you gain perspective, which empowers you to navigate adversity with strength. Gratitude also helps you shift from a mindset of scarcity, where you focus on what's missing, to one of abundance, where you realize that you have everything you need to overcome obstacles. Right? In addition, gratitude strengthens your emotional well-being by fostering a deeper sense of connection with others. When you express gratitude toward the people around you, you deepen relationships and create an environment of mutual appreciation. Gratitude isn't just something you feel, it's something you express. Taking time to thank the people who support and inspire you strengthens your bonds, making you more resilient in the face of life's challenges. Practicing gratitude is an act of emotional empowerment. It's a reminder that no matter what you face, there is always something to be grateful for. When you intentionally cultivate gratitude, you elevate your emotional strength, bringing peace, joy, and resilience into your life. Embracing vulnerability is a powerful habit that can transform your emotional strength. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness or something to be avoided, but in reality, it's the key to authentic connection, personal growth, and emotional resilience. To be vulnerable is to allow yourself to be seen in your most authentic form, without the masks or walls that often protect us from fear, judgment, or rejection. While it may feel uncomfortable at first, embracing vulnerability is a necessary step toward emotional freedom and strength. When you embrace vulnerability, you allow yourself to experience emotions fully without holding back. This openness invites you to acknowledge your fears, insecurities, and imperfections without shame. It's in this raw, unguarded state that true healing and growth take place. Instead of running from difficult emotions, vulnerability teaches you how to sit with them, process them, and learn from them. By facing your emotions head on, you build a deeper understanding of yourself and develop the strength to handle life's challenges with grace. Vulnerability also fosters connection with others. In a world where people often hide behind social facades, being vulnerable allows you to build meaningful, authentic relationships. When you share your struggles, your fears, and your dreams with others, you create a space where they feel safe to do the same. This mutual openness cultivates trust, understanding, and compassion. Vulnerability has the power to break down barriers and create deep emotional bonds, making you feel more supported and less alone in your journey. Embracing vulnerability is essential for personal growth. Growth often happens when we step outside of our comfort zones and take risks. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to new experiences and possibilities. Whether it's pursuing a passion, asking for help, or admitting when you don't know something, vulnerability is the first step toward expanding your capabilities. It takes courage to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers. But in doing so, you create space for learning, improvement, and success. Embracing vulnerability is about accepting your humanity and giving yourself permission to be imperfect. It's about letting go of the fear of judgment and opening yourself to the richness of life's experiences. When you embrace vulnerability, you build emotional resilience, deepen your connections, and unlock your true potential. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It's the strength to be authentic, to grow, and to live fully. Self-compassion is one of the most vital habits for building emotional strength. It involves treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that you would offer a friend in times of difficulty. Often, we are our harshest critics, holding ourselves to impossibly high standards and beating ourselves up when we fall short. But self-compassion shifts this perspective, allowing us to approach ourselves with gentleness and care rather than judgment and blame. This habit fosters emotional resilience by helping you accept your flaws, acknowledge your mistakes, and offer yourself the love and support you need to heal and grow. When you practice self-compassion, you create a safe space within yourself where you can be vulnerable and honest without fear of judgment. It means recognizing that being imperfect is a part of being human, and instead of punishing yourself for your shortcomings, you choose to nurture yourself through them. Just like you would comfort a friend who is struggling, you comfort yourself with compassion and understanding. This self-caredness fosters a deeper sense of self-worth, allowing you to move through life with greater emotional stability. Self-compassion also helps you navigate difficult emotions with greater ease. When you experience pain, disappointment, or frustration, it's easy to become overwhelmed or shut down. But self-compassion teaches you to acknowledge these feelings without judgment and accept them as part of your human experience. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling vulnerable or weak, you validate your emotions and give yourself the space to feel them. This approach promotes emotional healing as it allows you to process your feelings without adding shame or guilt into the mix. Moreover, self-compassion is essential for growth and resilience. When you're kind to yourself, you're more likely to learn from your mistakes rather than dwell on them. You give yourself permission to fail, knowing that each setback is an opportunity to grow and improve. Rather than seeing failure as something to avoid at all costs, self-compassion helps you embrace it as a natural part of the journey toward personal development. This mindset allows you to bounce back from challenges more quickly and with a greater sense of confidence. Self-compassion is not just about being kind to yourself during tough times, it's about cultivating a deep sense of love and respect for who you are, flaws and all. By practicing self-compassion, you build a solid foundation of emotional strength that allows you to face life's challenges with grace, resilience, and unwavering confidence. It's a powerful tool for creating lasting emotional health, one that empowers you to live authentically, embrace your imperfections, and navigate the ups and downs of life with a sense of peace. In conclusion, the habits we've explored today are not just techniques for surviving life's challenges. They are transformative practices that empower you to thrive emotionally. From self-awareness to self-compassion, each habit plays a crucial role in strengthening your emotional resilience, enabling you to face adversity with grace, authenticity, and confidence. Building emotional strength is an ongoing process that requires consistent effort, patience, and the courage to be vulnerable. By cultivating these habits, you create a solid foundation for a life of emotional stability, deeper connections, and unshakable inner strength. Thank you for taking the time to engage with these insights. Remember, emotional strength is not something you're born with, it's something you build one habit at a time. Keep practicing, stay committed to your growth, and know that you have everything within you to create a life filled with resilience, peace, and emotional power. Thank you again.